Welcome to Beat the Heat Awareness Training.
It's already a hot day, and it's only going to get hotter. As the sun rises higher in the sky, so does the humidity level. You and your coworkers are in for another scorching hot day. Fortunately, most of the people on your shift have been on the job for a while, and they know how to work safely in the extreme heat. But not everyone. This new hire set out this morning to impress his supervisor and show his coworkers what he's made of. Hey man, you alright?
Yeah, sure, I'm alright, no problem.
Suppose you see one of your coworkers in this condition. He tells you he's fine, but he looks awfully hot and tired. One option is simply to get back to work. There's no sense wasting time when you have lots of work to do. Besides, he needs to get used to the heat if he plans on working out here. Or you could ask him once more if he's all right, just to be sure. Actually, the best alternative would be to take a break in the shade and drink some water. If you see a crew member who may be showing the early signs of a heat-related medical condition, it is up to you to take responsibility. You see, when it comes to heat, we have to look out for each other and take the right actions without hesitation.
Temperature regulation. Have you ever wondered why you sweat when you get too hot from running, or shiver on a cold winter's day? Well, in this video we are going to explain why your body behaves like this. Humans are endotherms. This means we are warm-blooded. We keep our body operating at 37 degrees Celsius, regardless of the external conditions. However, this is a real challenge as our environment changes all the time depending on the weather, our clothes, if we are inside by the fire or outside having a snowball fight. So how does this work? Well, it's quite similar to the heating system in a house. In a house is a thermostat that measures the temperature. If the house gets cold, the thermostat will tell the radiators to turn on and heat it up. If it's too hot, they will be told to switch off. Simple. Your body works in just the same way. Here in your brain is a special area called the hypothalamus. It measures the temperature of the blood flowing through it and also collects information from temperature sensors around the body. It then decides if the temperature is too hot or too cold and will try and bring it back to 37 degrees Celsius. If you are too hot, the hypothalamus can then send signals out to the body via the nervous system that can cause various effects. It can send a signal to your skin and cause sweat glands to secrete the sweat onto the surface of the skin. The sweat itself is not cold, but it works because it takes the heat away from your body in order to evaporate it. Another way of losing heat is vasodilation. Look how these blood vessels nearest the surface of the skin open wide and allow blood to flow through them. The heat is radiated from the blood into the air and the blood cools down. If you get too cold, you can do the opposite with these blood vessels and close them off, keeping the blood away from the surface of the skin. This is called vasoconstriction. You can also start to shiver. This is when your muscles contract in order to make heat. Another effect you may have noticed when you are cold are goose pimples. If you look more closely at goose pimples, what you realise is that each of the little bumps has a hair sticking out of it. These hairs are stood up on end to trap a layer of air around the skin. Air is a fantastic insulator of heat, and this will keep you nice and cosy. Did you know that when you pluck a goose, it leaves these little bumps, and that is where the term comes from? All these effects are examples of negative feedback that help with homeostasis.
During summer months, temperature rises up drastically and heat-related illnesses are a major concern. It is important for us to know symptoms of heat illness and how to protect yourself and your coworkers from dangers of heat exposure. What is heat illness? Hot conditions put your body under a lot of stress. Body normally cools itself by sweating. During hot weather, sweating is not enough. Heat, when combined with other stresses such as hard physical work, loss of fluids, fatigue, pre-existing medical conditions, and or lack of acclimatization, may lead to heat-related illness, injuries, disability, and even death. This can happen quickly and it can happen to anybody, even young and fit people. Did you know that hot, tired, and fatigued workers may reduce work performance such as reduced accuracy and reduced efficiency? And you know that hot, tired, and fatigued workers may increase accidents such as workers more susceptible to accident, workers more prone to injury. How does it happen? The body responds to overheating by excessive sweat loss resulting in dehydration, increased blood flow to skin causes decrease in organ function that may lead to body loses its ability to cool. Let us learn how to recognize heat illness symptoms and how to protect yourself. Here are some heat-related illnesses. First one, heat rash. Symptoms for heat rash are small red clusters of blisters or pimples, skin becomes reddened and may itch, feel prickly, or hurt, most likely to appear on the upper chest, neck area, in the groin, under the breast, and increase on the elbow. First aid are practice good personal hygiene. Wear loose, dry clothing will help sweat evaporate and reduce the chance of heat rash. Keep affected area dry. See the doctor if rash persists. Severe heat rash can result in fever or heat exhaustion. Second one is heat syncope. Symptoms are dizzy, lightheaded, nausea. Usually occurs at the beginning of the hot season before the body has adapted. First aid are lay victim down in a cool location with feet elevated. If conscious, give fluids. Other symptoms are painful muscle cramps or spasms, usually in arms, legs, or abdomen caused by loss of body salt through heavy sweating, onset of dehydration. First aid are stop activity and rest in a cool area. Drink more water and caffeine-free fluid. Get medical attention if condition continues. Heat cramps are an early warning sign of heat stress. Third one is heat exhaustion. Symptoms are excessive sweating, rapid or shallow breathing, nausea or vomiting, muscle cramps, dizziness or confusion, headache, blurred vision, weak pulse, pale complexion or clammy skin, weakness. First aid are stop activity and rest in a cool area. Loosen and remove unnecessary clothing. Apply wet clothes to head and body. Give sips of cold water. Inform your supervisor. If vomiting continues or person is unconscious, seek medical care immediately. If untreated, heat exhaustion can quickly lead to heat stroke. Next one is heat stroke. Symptoms are very high body temperature greater than 40 degrees Celsius, confusion, dizziness, hallucinations, loss of coordination. Skin is hot, red and dry. Slurred speech, fast pulse, chills, throbbing headache. First aid are seek medical care immediately. Inform your supervisor. Lay worker down in a cool area and remove outer clothing. Apply immediate cooling to body using cold wet clothes or spraying with cold water. If conscious, give fluids. If untreated by medical care, heat stroke can result in death. In order to reduce the risk of heat-related illness, workers should stay hydrated before, during, and after work. How much water is enough? Drink at least 2 liters every 2 to 3 hours in summer, and drink more than just to satisfy your thirst. Good sources of hydration: water, juices and or non-caffeine sport drinks, fruit and veggies, which is 90% water. It is also the responsibility of every worker to observe their urine color as shown on the urine hydration chart. Urine color is an important indicator of dehydration. Be sure to take note of the color of your urine and stay properly hydrated. If your urine is darker than a pale yellow color, increase your intake of fluids immediately. Take note that some foods, spices, or vitamin supplements may change the color of your urine for a few hours after ingestion. All workers should be watchful for symptoms for themselves and others. Co-workers should recognize what's happening and intervene. A worker heading into heat stroke will no longer realize what's happening to them. Regarding the PPE, wear appropriate clothing and PPE where applicable. Be aware when using any PPE that prevents sweat from evaporating. Hard hats, attach a piece of light-colored fabric to the back and side of the rim, which provides shade for neck. Damp down clothing with water. It will help cool the body through evaporation. Workers should rest in a cool place where possible. Take a break as per Thermal Work Limit or TWL measurement guidelines. Do not push your body beyond its limits. Ensure good nutrition and well-balanced healthy diet. Avoid caffeinated drinks like tea, coffee, and soda. To summarize all the worker responsibility, he should get adequate rest, allow enough sleep. Check your urine color and it should be pale yellow. Seek medical advice if your medication affects heat exhaustion. When feeling unwell, inform your supervisor immediately. Here are supervisor responsibility. Supervisor should conduct toolbox talks. Ensure workers are properly trained on recognizing signs of heat stress. Provide workers with adequate amounts of drinking water close to workplace for adequate fluid intake. Provide workers with rest and shade in order to cool down. Supervisor should monitor and be aware of environmental conditions. Supervise workers and be watchful for signs of overexposure. Gradually acclimatize workers. Allow workers to self-pace where applicable and take rest to cool down. Gradually increase workloads. Allow more frequent breaks for new workers or workers who have been away for more than 14 days to build a tolerance for working in the heat. Assure that affected workers receive medical attention. Electrolyte supplements should only be given by medical department. It is also important to consider the acclimatization of our personnel, and this can be done through gradual adjustment of body conditions when exposed to heat stress is called acclimatization. Acclimatization usually takes minimum 7 days time. Once acclimatized, our body becomes more efficient at coping with heat stress conditions. An acclimatized person can tolerate heat stress better before harmful effects occur. It is the responsibility of every worker to ensure that he is acclimatized to the working environment. Congratulations! You have completed this e-learning training.